All right. Hey, I wanted to read an email from Edward Brown and an opportunity that's coming up on a radio show with Alfred Adask, my friend. He's been running a radio show for a long time, and I think a lot of you guys are longtime listeners. Um, Let me also say this when it comes to Ed Brown. He often, he's educated me about his case. He's wrote the saga of Ed and Elaine Brown. He told me about how many times they attempted to murder him with, gases and other attempts, and he's told me about some of his experiences in CMU prison. But Ed Brown doesn't focus on his case. He focuses on a much bigger issue, and he's part of the Constitutional Rangers, and he has a mindset of victory as opposed to a mindset of defeat. And most of Ed Brown's conversations and communications are about how to win the war of tyranny and to stop tyranny in the United States. And it's amazing, given the history and his 9-year prison sentence and the fact that he'll probably die in prison, that when he speaks, it's always from victory. It's like, this is how to win the war of tyranny, and he's got a very educated opinion on it. And when other people would view his statements, they probably think, well, he's gone off his rocker, he's gone insane. I don't view it like that. I view it as someone who speaks from the mindset of war, and they're never going to give up, and all of their energies and their mentality is how to win this war. And he speaks about the Jesuits, the Vaticans, the Khazars, the Zionist Jews, and he speaks about how to expose them and how to win this war. And that's what he's focused on, right? He's not focused on how to just to get his own self out of prison. He's focused on exposing the root of the tyranny so that America could restore our liberties and our, constitutional freedoms. But here's the letter that I wrote to Ed Brown, and then I want to read you his response. I put, Hi, Mr. Brown. God has opened the door with my friend Alfred Adask to talk about your case as well as that of the Montana freeman named Russell Landers and CMU prisons and political prisoners on his small radio show. God willing, this will happen on Tuesday, April the 4th. You should know that if there were any possible legal way without getting you into trouble, I would much prefer that your voice be on that radio show to represent your own self. I know well that nobody knows your case better than you do. And then I need to let you guys know, I don't seek out like the limelight and to go talk about Ed Brown's case or Russell Landers' case. It's a very big responsibility that I do not take lightly, right? These men, I would prefer they just call from prison and talk on the radio about their case. They're going to do a wonderful job because they know their case much better than anybody else on this planet. But since they can't do that, and since the prison would put them in segregation or the hole if they did that, somebody has to speak up on their behalf. And so I pray many of us come together and represent them on the radio show. It's not a thing to be taken lightly to represent publicly a man who spent 9 years in prison, a man who spent 21 years in prison in the case of Russell Landers. And so we need to be sensitive that these are very serious cases, and I want to do the best job that I can. So I try to communicate with these people as much as I can, whether it be core links or whether it be written letters. But this is how Ed Brown responded, and I wanted to read this into YouTube. It said, Dear Rudy, this is the opportunity to get the message out that I am desperately trying to get a message to the president related a cartel that has placed agents within his administration through his intelligence agencies. But my messages have been blocked and even destroyed, which I have hard evidence of. As the United States Constitution Ranger, I am obligated to reach him and warn him of the danger that prevails against the United States and anyone that tries to expose them. You guys might remember that Ed Brown put together a package for President of the United States, and he sent it CMRR, Certified Mail Return Receipt, and a organization known as Novatex Government Solutions intercepted the package, opened it, and illegally returned it to Ed Brown without allowing for lawful delivery. That's a very serious charge, and I believe Ed Brown is telling me the truth. And we've tried to reach out to that company. As a matter of fact, I put up a video of my interaction with one of the representatives. But Ed Brown goes on to write, as a commander with the United States Constitution Rangers of the 1777 Continental Congress, filed in the Library of Congress, I have filed a qui tam action case with the federal court, New Hampshire, in order that I can expose this very cartel. but the entire judicial of the Crown Bar Association has recused themselves. Included within this claim to the court was a hue and cry warning that the appellate court, and the clerk of the Supreme Court has ignored. Please remind everyone that I am not frivolous, and this hue and cry is to prevent further deadly actions against the United States by enemy agents within these 50 Union republics. Please also note that I have been attempting to notify lawful authority for over 12 years, and that is why Elaine, Jason Gerhard, Daniel Riley, and others have been put in prison. Now I'm angry and well informed. My full attention is now on the Jesuits and the United States Department of Justice. I have many questions for them to answer, in a public forum only, before a bluebonnet grand jury, a full session of Congress, or at least the President without the presence of any attorneys or members of the intelligence community, which are all controlled by an offshore cartel of the Crown. That's just for starters. I am now in possession of the entire history of it all. Because of Jesus, God, and country, Commander Edward Lewis Brown, United States Constitution Rangers. PSF. Submit for all public edification. Read it on the air. Ed. End. Okay, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm getting his message out. Now, a lot of people, when you read this, you're going to think Ed has gone off his rocker, but it's not going off your rocker when you speak confidently about what you know, and you know how you want to proceed, and that you know that truth will always be victorious, right? Ed Brown speaks and he uses certain words that I don't fully understand the meaning of. Qui tam action? I don't know. I'd have to look that up, right? What's he say about bluebonnet grand jury? I don't know what that is, man. But just because he uses words that I don't fully understand doesn't mean that I can't look them up and become educated at some point. But I gather that Ed Brown believes in his heart that he understands how to fix this problem that's going on with tyranny. And, you know, I kind of believe that when you look at the organizations that are ruining the world, the Zionist Khazars, who refer to themselves as Jews and are not Jews, the Vatican and the Jesuits are right in the mix of people and groups and organizations that are destroying the world with their tyrannical ideology and their behavior, and it's just absolutely against humankind. It's against the freedom of mankind. It's against you know, where the freedom of the Lord is, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty, and so where the spirit of tyranny is, there is a devil, obviously. But anyway, I read this on the air. I will continue to be an advocate for Ed Brown, Russell Anders, Elaine Brown, Daniel Riley, Jason Gerhard, and I pray that you reach out to them. Let me bring up his template. See if that's it. Yeah, that's it. I don't like this Ron Paul thing. I always bring that up there. I'd rather do that. Stick Ron Paul over here. Kick him to the curb, man. He didn't do nothing for the birth certificate. But there's Ed Brown's address, and there's Elaine Brown's address. I pray you write him a letter and let him know you hadn't forgot about him. And they're very serious when they talk about what they know, and God bless them. All right, take care, everyone.